For 125 years, NCSD has been home for deaf and hard of hearing children from across western North Carolina. So it's really an amazing place that has felt like home. And now we have new neighbors, and that's NCSSM.
We are incredibly proud to be stewarding this land and these buildings that was really the home of the School for the Deaf for so many years over their storied 125-year history. And, you know, to be their neighbors now, to be their partners in developing and executing innovative STEM programming for our youth and North Carolina's youth is an amazing partnership that we're looking forward to being a part of.
Growing up in Morganton, this has always been, you know, sort of a special place. This entire district, really, given the School for the Deaf and the proximity of Broughton Hospital and Western Piedmont, you know, I've got kind of personal connections to all of these places. Of all of it, you know, the barn and the property here was always kind of a magical place in our minds. It used to be growing up that the city of Morganton had their fireworks shows here in the great in the Great Lawns, and that was always you know, a fun kind of gathering of the whole city in some ways. And so it's always been kind of a special place to the people in Morganton and to me personally. So it's been really exciting to be a part of this process that is going to let that tradition kind of live on in terms of the city and the region taking advantage of this great location.
I grew up here at NCSD in 1964, and this building behind me is Goodwin Hall. And this was actually the very first building that I entered when I was a little boy at 8 years old. So this was a dorm, and then next door here is Joyner Hall when I grew up. And this, my parents grew up well in this building, and they were actually met in 1928, sweethearts, and ended up getting married. So it's a lot of history in this building.
We formed a committee, a history committee and advisory committee that we met last week and came together and decided that it would be best to come up with a plan to recognize all the historic features that went on here in this building.
Burke County has been blessed, and I think we're about to be blessed again. I am so thrilled over this school coming here, and the fact that they're going to preserve some of our history. Goodwin Hall, Joyner Hall, the barn, that's my love.
And with this change with North Carolina School for the Science and Math building, I can just vision a lot of changes going to take place. The outside may look the same, but still the history I really want to emphasize. I know the inside will change a lot, and it's really going to impact the alumni who actually grew up in this building, like myself. You know, slept here, ate here, grew up here. So I think it's important to have that good partnership, collaboration with the school and support each other and understand their history.
I hope that it'll help to educate people, give them appreciation of where they are. And I've always said, whether a child is a first generation or fifth generation here, they need to know the history of where they are. I don't think you can emphasize that enough.
The School for the Deaf was considered cutting-edge educational technology and created a lot of excitement, economic development in the community when it came. And the same thing is true of the schools of science and math. It will represent a real economic boost to the area.
We are really inspired by the history of this site, and we are excited to be able to move into some of these structures that honor some of the legends of the School for the Deaf. And as we surround that with new structures, new facilities, and bring new students onto this site in the years to come, we think it's going to be an amazing accomplishment for the whole region and the state.
It's always very special to talk about our students and their journey to arriving at NCSD. You hear different stories, students with different backgrounds, but one common theme is that wherever they came from, maybe they felt isolated, or maybe they felt like they needed more, or that they were missing something, and then they arrive here. And I will never forget stories of families who show up for the first time, and they look around and they see signing and they see their language, and immediately there's a connection to a community that's theirs. For about 5 years now, NCSD has been really focused on improving STEM education. What we've done is focus and invest a lot of effort into improving access to STEM education for our students. So for about 5 years, we've seen our programs improve, an increase in enrollment. There are more students here. It's a really exciting time. And now, new neighbors in NCSSM whose focus is similar, and really whose students are similar in that they're arriving to NCSSM with a new experience and new things to look forward to. So our students will really have that in common.
Some of the buildings, as you know, are historic structures that we're going to adapt and reuse in a pretty creative way. And so looking at the spaces and what the configurations allow for and might lend themselves toward. And then also looking at the spaces which are wide open land right now, where we're going to build new structures to complement the historic facilities on that site. There are so many interested stakeholders and constituents of both institutions, our neighbors at Western Piedmont Community College and those other interested stakeholders around the region. But to know that we have a real alignment to the mission of the North Carolina School for the Deaf, and it's just a hop, skip, and a jump across a beautiful campus here. It really does inspire our institution and our community to come up with new partnerships and new ways to breathe life into both sides of that arrangement and to stimulate programming moving forward. As I walk around this site, I'm just overwhelmed by just the power of these facilities and this campus and the awe that it brings in terms of the view sheds, and also really the history that we're going to be able to celebrate, commemorate, and build upon for the next 125 years of this land and these campuses, and we're just overwhelmed with the possibilities.